Let's create server and client files. Client and yes, style them right left. So client is here, server is here. Today we will do the packaging, library packages of Python HTTP package. From HTTP package, right? Let's try creating a server. We would import base HTTP request handler and HTTP server. Let's also import JSON library and client. Again, we would need inference to HTTP client and JSON. So say client can create a connection now, right? HTTP client parameterized a constructor, right? Following design pattern, and here we call upon HTTP connection, passing localhost, right? Followed by the port that the localhost is listening on. Now let's see what we have in server. So server starts with definition of a class. So what does this class do then? Its name is handler and it would help us handle request, HTTP request when it's received from the client, right? What we do, we do get for self, some syntactical grammar to come here now. Right. And here let's presume that a custom header called X region is over there, right? Then we would send back the response saying yes, received the request successfully, and along with it sending the header content type. Okay, application JSON, right? And then end headers. Once headers complete, next thing is body and passing the message to JSON object, right? Hello from region, and let's pass in the region that is available here, and then write w self file, write JSON dumps the body and encodes it before proceeding further. Right. Now let's define a main class, main function, right? In Python we call like this. So we would say main, and then let's create an instance of server here, right? HTTP server. From http.server we are creating HTTP server, right? So it is http.server.http server essentially. See how it is defined here. HTTP server called upon HTTP server dot. So like this we can call upon, and here there is no from statement, so directly importing the client and calling upon client once again. Design principles, it's the choice should be right, unique localhost, and port is specified port here at 8000. Now we do handler, and we go ahead saying the server is running on HTTP protocol and localhost 8000, right? Then server would help us serve forever. Here server is going to help us serve. Now what is there in the client now? So client is like directly progressing with the connection, listening on the headers, defining the region X region header. Consider here US East 1. And then on that connection let's do a request. Request type is get request. We're trying to do here at root, web root, right? And passing along the headers equals headers. Next thing we do is response, connection get response, and then we would print the status, right? And response dot status, like the response that we would receive. So get response, right, on the request on the host and on the given port. If the connection is there, HTTP connection would be created and response would be tried to fetch through. Now let's print the body here. JSON would help us load response read, and then finally let's close the connection. Now here meticulously we see the server is listening constantly. Whenever the request happens successfully, right? And next request can still continue since server keeps listening. Server will never close in this use case. Let us assess now. So let's do Python 3 and call upon server.file. See how the server keeps listening now on the port and host And now for every request, it would record the response back and forth. So it's printing this information here. Getting a request of type GET at web root HTTP 1.1 protocol and status code is 200, being printed on the server side, right? On server side it's being printed. The information passed is, we see a request is gone, headers are being passed, right? Region headers. Here we see the message received in the body once the response is fetched back. So here content type, like it makes the request. The request of type GET is been received here from here. When server starts listening, right, and the header is being sent. So when response is given back, like it is writing this response, so it writes this message back, right? So let's say the request is happening here, and once response is written, now here we see on the response the status code is written, content type is written, and headers, and then body is being written to be passed back. So here it writes the body into the response, and response then it is received here. So once the response is received, the response we print here, and it says the status received is response.status. The status that is passed here is received back, so it prints here. And then the body it prints. So body passed is message hello from region, and region that we passed in request is passed back to us right here, back content type application JSON, and then the region parameter we passed here. Now see how region is being passed here, right? So region and the header we are trying to read, the one that is there in the request is X region US East 1, and now we are fetching it from X region here, and then that is being assigned to the region. The first is region is passed, right, and printed as region. So region, right, X region in the header, X region of type X region, the first thing passed headers US system only header, X region having that value being assigned to the region, being printed here in the client side, right? Good. Now again we could do another performing operation. Since the server is now in listening state, it would keep listening and the request response continues, right? Good. Thanks.